Okay, this might be a great time to do a quick recap on the story. I think there's 17 chapters altogether. You may have come into the middle of it. You may have not listened for a while. You may just need reminding about the story itself. So you're listening to Red and Yellow. Red in Yellow, not Red and Yellow. And this is a story about Vincent van Gogh's final 3 years of his life. He was a painter for just 9 years. In the last 3 years of his life, he produced 800 works of art, which is an enormously productive period of life, but he sure had his mental challenges. This story takes a lot of the facts that you find online. There are so many facts and so much has been written about Vincent van Gogh that I decided to take a little bit of a different approach to it. This short story, I go back to the fact that Vincent van Gogh was not the first Vincent van Gogh. He had an older brother who died at birth. And as is a custom for Holland, for the Netherlands at the time, that the next born son would be named after the one that died at birth. And of course, his name was Vincent Wilhelm van Gogh. And so he comes back to live in the mind of Vincent as a muse. And that's a very different way of looking at the story. So we have two Vincent van Goghs in the story, if you will. Yeah, and then just briefly, this takes place in the 3 last years of his life, really. The bulk of the story is the 3 last years of his life. The first part of it, in 3 parts, if you will, was Paris, living with his brother Theo. And then he goes off to Arles, France, in the south of France, and then he goes to Auvergne for his final year. So hope you're enjoying it. That's a recap. If you missed any of the episodes, they're all pretty quick and they're fun to listen to, so you can go back and listen again if you want to get caught up. But do enjoy, and we'll see you on ClearTales soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Chapter 11, Hôtel Dieux. A faint tap on his foot. Then another, sharper this time. His eyes fluttered. 2 policemen stood beside his bed, caps askew, watching him as though he were a strange exhibit. Boots shuffled on the floorboards. "Get up, monsieur," a third said as he bent closer, shaking his ankle again. "How did this happen, monsieur?" Vincent's head turned and observed the wreckage of his room. He pushes himself up on one elbow, feeling the strange lightness of his head, the tight pull of a stiff neck and crusty wrapping. "What?" Vincent replies with a voice pushing through a dense fog. "Your name, monsieur?" The other officer barked, his voice less patient. "Van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh." His tongue thick and clumsy in his mouth. The words taste like copper. "And the ear?" The second officer gestures toward Vincent's bandaged head. The memory returns in a flash, the moonlight on metal, the strange lightness as he held his own flesh in his palm, Rachel's horrified face. You're missing ear, monsieur." Was there a fight in this house last night?" "I did it," he said with a matter-of-fact tone, clear and decisive. "Did what?" "Took my ear off." "With what did you do this?" one officer asked in a low tone, his hot breath close to Vincent's face. "With a folding razor," he said, as though describing a color choice. "Where is this razor, monsieur?" "I don't know," he said. One of the officers looked over the surfaces of the yellow house, uncovered the scattered items upended by the night's conflict. He poked and pushed with a stick for some time, returning with his head shaking, "No." Ian's voice hissed from somewhere in the corner. "Say that you were painting the sunset last night and ran out of red." but had to continue before the light faded. Vincent tried to sit, but winced instead. "It's nothing," he said. "Only a misunderstanding of anatomy." The men exchanged glances. The youngest policeman muttered under his breath, "Artist or lunatic?" Vincent smiled faintly. "Both," he whispered. One gently lifted the blood-stiffened pillow as though expecting to find the ear beneath it, but they were fully aware of where it turned up the night before and how. They helped him up, one on each arm, wrapped a strip of cloth around his head, dressed him a new set of clothes, and led him out into the street. The cobblestones gleamed from settled dew in the morning light. Arles was waking up, shutters opening, carts creaking, a church bell calling out a day indifferent to madness. Vincent stumbled. One officer tightened his grip. The other sighed. "I will take him to Hotel Dieux," the senior officer said. The hospital smelled of the primitive disinfectant of the day: apple vinegar, carbolic acid, lime wash. The ceiling arched high above them in Roman style, and white ceramic tiles produced canyons of echo. Dr. Felix Ray, who was assigned to this new case, had a student's awkwardness and a priest's compassion. He approached the bed and unwrapped the crude police bandage. The wound gaped. Ian whistled. Well, well, that's your masterpiece, Vincent. Needs a little varnish, though." "You did this yourself?" Ray asked quietly, while the policeman stood behind him. "Oh, yes," Vincent said. "What did you use?" "My painting razor." Ray cleaned the cut, lips pressed thin. "This wound looks rather clean for an old razor. You're lucky you didn't bleed to death. Did someone do this for you?" Vincent smiled weakly. "Oh, no. I am just a painter creating the Salon of the South. I work alone." For several days, Ray tended to him, feeding, bandaging, speaking softly of rest. Vincent alternated between apologies and evasions. Ian filled the gaps with provocation. "Tell him Gogh did it. Tell him you're St. Peter reborn. Tell him you wanted to hear God better through the other ear." After a week, he was discharged and returned to the Yellow House. But Arles was no longer the Arles of just a week before. Approaching mothers pulled their children away. Shopkeepers turned their signs to fermé. Cafe owners seated him in remote corners or near the swinging kitchen door. At the brothel, Rachel appeared once. Her face paled like paper left too long in the sun. She too turned away. "Even your muse hides now. Children taunt you like they did Jesus." "A prophet without parish," Ian said. The people of Arles signed a petition for Van Gogh to be removed from town. All signed except his friend, Joseph Roulin, who visited daily, bringing letters and gossip. "Gauguin's gone," he said. "Took the train north." His thick hands folded over his lap. "But I told the village officials, you are no menace, only misunderstood." A week later, Van Gogh returned to the hospital, his only refuge now, and entered into the care of Ray again. The young doctor redressed the wound, declared he had an epileptic condition, and promised to contact his brother. A day later, Theo arrived breathless, coat damp from travel, eyes hollow. He embraced Vincent gingerly as though afraid to break him. Vincent, he whispered. What are we going to do, dear brother? Dr. Ray suggested a place he knew of for a calm life, an asylum for those suffering from delusion and epilepsy, Saint-Paul-de-Moselle in Saint-Rémy. The director is humane. The gardens are peaceful, he said. It is beauty in the countryside. You could paint. Paint behind locked doors? Vincent asked. For your safety. Vincent's eyes dilated. Ian whispered in his ear of freedom. I don't know about this one, brother. I can't see the future on this one. They could cage your genius, or set it free. I'll go, Vincent said finally. But I must paint. This you must promise to me. I will capture an accurate portrayal of Hôtel Dieux on canvas before I leave Arles, and I cannot leave Arles without my paints, my brushes, canvas, and pipe. The next morning, he set up a small easel in his hospital room. Its white walls, iron beds, and crisp sheets was a sterile but accurate presentation. The manicured gardens with a fountain and pool at its center spoke of the promise of healing, and the ward, where he had spent much of his time along with the others of Arles who suffered a variety of maladies, needed to be captured. Ian spoke softly now, almost reverent. You made a good decision, brother. Beyond these walls and those of Saint-Rémy, I see cypress trees and golden fields whose story is waiting to be told. Paint them, Vincent. Paint what isn't yet there. Theo finalized the transfer papers with the doctor. Outside, Arles continued to live with its habitual indifference. Bells clanged in the tower. Ox carts lumbered down the sun-struck streets. Gossip fluttered from doorway to doorway. Life arrived. Life departed. And among all those small, forgettable stories, few spared a thought for Vincent van Gogh.